Thank you, Senator Power. Senator Moran, 10 minutes, Senator.
Thank you, Lascalearly. I too would like to welcome Minister Lynch to the House today. I think we're all well aware of Minister Lynch's commitment and support for the whole area of LGBT issues. A moral outrage, a grave violation of human rights and a public health crisis, a loss for the entire human family when promising lives are cut short. This is how the UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon referred to homophobic bullying last December at UNESCO's first global consultation on homophobic bullying in Rio. He called on governments throughout the world to act to protect lesbian, gay, bisexual and transsexual young people. Also in December, the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights released a groundbreaking report on the human rights of LGBT people. So it is clear that the issue of homophobic bullying is one that is of high importance at an international level. But what exactly is it? It can be defined as any hostile or offensive action against lesbians, gay males, bisexuals or transgender people, or those perceived to be lesbian, gay, bisexual or transgender. These actions might be verbal, physical or emotional harassment, including or degrading comments, name-calling, gestures, taunts, insults or jokes, which I think has been referred to. An excellent example of it was in that stand-up video, which really hit home very shortly and succinctly, but really got the point across. Offensive graffiti, humiliating, excluding, tormenting, ridiculing or threatening to refuse to work or cooperate with others because of their sexual orientation or identity. And, they're all terms that we can use as well for ordinary bullying. I don't mean ordinary bullying, but for bullying in every sense. But it is very good that today we are concentrating on homophobic bullying and looking at it in context and in isolation by itself. While most adults, or a lot of adults in Ireland now, can now be open about their sexual orientation, the reality for young people is very different. The teenage years are a challenging time for everybody. But for those who think that they might be gay, lesbian or bisexual, it can be even more bewildering. In the past, homophobic bullying was seen as something not too serious, a bit of banter or teasing among youngsters that went on in the schoolyard or in the youth club or even on the sports ground. However, it is now recognised that this type of bullying is not only harmful, it's costing young people their lives. The report in 2009 by the HSE's National Office for Suicide Prevention, the results of this showed that LGBT people in Ireland had shockingly high levels of suicidal behaviours, and this was clearly linked to experiences of homophobic bullying. The study found that 50% of LGBT young people under 25 had seriously thought about ending their lives, while a staggering 20% had actually attempted suicide. The study also revealed that the majority of bullying was taking place in schools, and up to 1/3 of these young people had been subjected to homophobic comments from teachers. As a former teacher myself, I must say I found this, where it's shocking. It's horrific to find that, as was said there, that the people who are supposed to be teaching and leading, it's very important that we are all, that adequate training, I think, is provided for them, and that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. International research has shown that for many, homophobic bullying at school can result in long-term social, emotional and psychological effects. Those who are bullied at school can become fearful of their peer group and isolate themselves from them. The young person who is repeatedly bullied at school can experience anxiety, loss of confidence, loneliness and depression, which can result in problems like punctuality, deteriorating academic attainment, poor attendance, truancy, dropout, mental health problems and even the idea of suicide. As I said, as a former school teacher, I find the findings for these are very worrying and upsetting, and I must say that I do hope that with the introduction of the junior cycle review, that subjects like SPHE may be given a more firm footing on the curriculum, and that adequate training for SPHE in the schools is given to the teachers who are to provide it. Our equality legislation protects the rights of everyone in this state. Our places of work, our places of leisure, transport, healthcare, all areas of our daily lives should be free from discrimination on grounds of gender, marital status, family status, sexual orientation, religion, age, disability and race. Specifically, the Education Welfare Act of 2000 requires schools to prepare a code of behaviour that specifies the standards of behaviour to be observed by students. All second-level schools are now required to have a number of policies in place, including one on bullying. In August 2006, in order to reduce the administrative burden on schools, the Department of Education issued a template anti-bullying policy. This template was built on the previously issued guidelines on counter-bullying in schools and included references to homophobic bullying. This was a major step forward in breaking the silence and invisibility that often surrounds homophobic bullying in Irish second-level schools, even at a policy level. Research done in the schools has established that while anti-bullying policies, campaigns and initiatives are working very well in most schools, there is an obvious reluctance on many schools to be specific on the issues of homophobic bullying. This is something that I feel really needs to be changed urgently. A school ethos cannot be rooted in the presumption that everyone in the school is heterosexual. School leaders will have to challenge some such presumptions by making an explicit reference to LGBT issues and providing relevant resources and other materials for use in the classrooms and around the school. This should remind everyone, including the staff, that although often invisible, people who identify as LGBT are valued members of the school community. What is most important, in my opinion, is that no member of staff, parent or student is left with any ambiguity in terms of where the school, including the trustees of the school, stand on the issues of homophobic bullying. As recently as May of this year, Minister Ruairí Quinn established the forum to explore ways of tackling bullying in schools. Experts, support groups and representatives of the school sector were brought together to explore how best to tackle bullying in schools and to consider changes that might be required to existing practices. Minister Quinn also established a working group to address the issue of bullying in schools, including homophobic bullying, cyberbullying and racist bullying. And I must say I welcome the fact that the group belonged to and Glenn were both represented on this working group. I think that was a very important move that they're on that working group, which is reviewing current measures and identifying priorities based on international research and the findings of the forum. I've already just referred there to belong to. This group was singled out for particular praise at the UNESCO Global Convention in Rio 1 referred to earlier. Their work was highlighted as good practice and was included as a positive response to homophobia in the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights report on LGBT human rights. At the beginning of September, Belong to Youth Services unveiled LGBT Youth Mental Health Ireland, a project which specifically supports LGBT young people around the country to develop positive mental health. The project, which was launched by the Minister herself, who has been a strong advocate for LGBT youth, obviously recognises the gravity of the situation and the need for support for vulnerable young people. In my own hometown of Dundalk, I've been involved with the group Dundalk Outcomers for the last 2 years. And I've been so impressed with their commitment to helping and supporting and giving LGBT young people a chance to be themselves and to come out. And they've had some excellent festivals and over the last 2 summers. This summer I attended some local events where I met up and was delighted to meet with some former students of mine. And I must say it was a really encouraging sign to see how we've progressed along and across the path of acceptance, inclusivity, diversity. But I must say here that we cannot afford to become complacent. We have to work, we have to keep moving. We've come so far, but we have to keep moving. For most adults it is possible, as I said, to be gay, lesbian, bisexual or transgender in Ireland today. But for many young people, daily homophobic bullying means that it is still not okay. Our challenge is to ensure that this generation of young LGBT people are cared for, accepted, included and supported in their life choices. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Moran. Senator Van Turner.
Thank you very much.
10 minutes, Senator.
Thank you very much and very welcome, Minister Lynch. It's very difficult to encapsulate in one definition the scourge that is homophobic bullying and the